Hello, hello. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? It's not even 5 o'clock yet. I'm early. How good am I today? I'm early. So apologies for my rudeness. I'm just going to check on my phone and make sure we're coming through loud and clear. If you are catching me live, give me a wee hashtag live. Oh, give me a hashtag live in the comments, and if you get me in replay after 5 o'clock tonight, give me a little hashtag replay in the comments. So I'll do my normal preamble. Indulge me, please. So yeah, just back from the beach. It's glorious weather here. It is, according to my computer, at 22 degrees. So I took my son out on the paddleboard for a little bit after school, and I've come back and I have got baggy t-shirt, no bra, pajama shorts on. How comfy am I right now? So yes, today's masterclass is going to be a good one. I'm doing it through Zoom so I can do a screen share and take you through a really quick, easy way of meal planning for fat loss, time saving, all the good stuff. So who's excited? Give me a 1 in the chat box if you're excited. I can see seven. Hi, Donna. Hello, Donna. I can see seven eyes. Minimal comments, but it does take a while. So get your fastest finger first going on so I can engage you. You can engage with me. There's nothing worse than people just sitting watching and not give me any interaction. But Lisa, hi. Donna, Christine, hi. Hi, Christine. I've not heard you for a while. So my darlings, before we go into this, I put a huge welcome to our 3 new success stories that are going to be joining us this week over in our EMW Academy group, and that is our client area. We've got Michelle, we've got Claire, and we have Karina. So we're going to change some lives. I'm going to have some fun doing it. I'm going to drop multiple dresses. Can't wait. Cannot wait. So meal prep. Now, what I need to do here is share my screen. Here we go. Right. Can everybody see a document? A blank, well, it's got a little cheeky table on it. Because there's so many tabs and screens, I am just going to keep back and checking onto my phone and making sure that I am doing stuff. Turn my volume down here. Right. Okay. So meal prepping is one of those things that, oh, what's the phrase? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And this is a very, very common challenge that I hear from women, is that I don't have time to meal prep, or I'm really good for a good few days and then it all goes to pot and I get hungry or I get tired and I don't know what to eat. So I just go for whatever's in the cupboard, or cheese and toast, or something probably not conducive to go. So meal planning is such a quick win. And when I'll take you through how I do mine, and this is one of the ways that we help our clients with. It makes it easier for you to live your life, and also cheaper. It's going to save you money and it's going to save you time. 2 big resources. Okay. So everybody probably knows what a meal plan looks like, right? So it looks pretty much like this grid here. So Monday, however many days you want to meal prep for: breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. Now, everybody's got different eating habits. This is based on mine, okay? So if you need to have breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, snack, do whatever works for you. It's about, if you can adapt all the things that you need to adapt around about you, you'll get much better chance of success because you're more likely to be consistent. And that's what it's all about. Consistency and patience are the 2 most underrated parts of fat loss. But instead of going straight into this, there's a few steps that you can do before this that makes life easy for you. So before we go into that, some things that are very useful to you in meal prep life are a slow cooker, air fryer, Tupperware, bags, freezer bags. Having a good variety of condiments, spices, etc., can also be quite valuable. So, what I like to do is grab a whole. So I tend to do mine either on a Friday or a Saturday. I tend not. I do my meal prep, so I make all the food on a Sunday, but I do the planning before that, and we tend to do our supermarket shop on a Friday or Saturday. So I sit down. I have got this down to 5 minutes. 5 minutes, which then means I can spend some time plotting it all into my fitness pal. So what I do is I sit and write a list of all the things that I know that I can make. Okay, so I know that this is a skill that I'm very good at. So I'm going to talk about what I do, but also scale it back as well. So I know that I'm good at, I can do a spag bol, I can do a chili, I can do a chicken curry. I know omelets are often a winner. I do some fritters. Just trying to think of all the common things that might make an appearance over any given month. Spanish chicken is one that I do. We might do fajitas. This is where you see my terrible spelling. Fajitas, blah, blah, blah. So write a list of all the things that you can do, that you know that you can cook and tend to be quite family favourites, one pan favourites, right? And then go through your list of things that you know that you can make. Omelette. And look at going, right, is this way that I currently make this, is this the healthiest version that I can make? So, having a think about if you're using full fat mince in your spag bol and your chili, can you bring that down to a lower fat mince? In your chicken curry, are you using a lot of cream? Is it caramel-like? Is it got a lot of nuts in it? Can you reduce that down and instead of cream using natural yogurt? Look at areas where you can get some quick wins. In your omelette, so you add in a shit ton of milk and butter and whatnot, or fritters don't need to be deep fried. So the fritters that I make, I tend to be courgette. They tend to be anything: courgette, sweet corn, sometimes there's chicken in there, sometimes chorizo, sometimes bacon, sometimes nothing. Okay, so these are all things that I know that I can make. Now, if you are a bit light on the recipe front of things that you know, I recommend that you go a quick supermarket sweep roundabout Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's, and get their free magazines, because there is always loads of free, decent quality, family-friendly recipes in there. If not, go online and find things that suit you, but go for easy options that everybody knows that kids will like. If you are not even into creating anything at all, and you're just like, I just need something done for me, see the Schwartz, are they called Schwartz or Schwarzkopf? No, Schwarzkopf's who makes my hair dye. Schwartz sachets, like you get one for chili and curry and all these things, and they tell you what to buy, and then you just bung it all together and make it, and it tells you what to do, and it's fine. Calorie wise, they're not the best unless you're using dry herbs yourself, but they're a quick win. So, take your time saving when you can. So get a list of things that you know that you can do. Over time, you'll start being a bit more adventurous, and you'll find other recipes. You go, oh, I'm going to try that. So for me, that I tend to do fish every week, but I tend to get quite overwhelmed. Like, what am I supposed to even do with fish? Prawn chili is nice. Anyway, so write a list of things that you can do, and then you can look to plot them in to where you want to go. So these are mostly dinners. So what I'll do is like, okay, we're having spag bol on Monday, which then means there's going to be leftovers for me to have it on Tuesday, and then I'll maybe have it with, I'll just have the bolognese with some potatoes on Wednesday lunch. Okay, so that's boom, done. I'm not going to do chili and spag bol in the same week, unlikely. So Tuesday, I'll maybe have, say, Spanish chicken, right? And so on, and then I can have it for lunch here. So then you've got 2 meals done out of that straight away. The trick is to make probably I tend to make about 6 portions, so double of what we need, and then a portion or two goes in the freezer. So you'll see why in a little minute. Okay, so you can plot them into your dinner and your lunches. When you are coming to design the meals that you want to have, start with your protein source. Start with your protein source as the primary ingredient and then build round about that. So, right, okay, I'm having bagel. A lot of people go, right, okay, so I've got pasta. Right, start with the mince. Right, so always have your protein source in a meal. This is one thing we try and talk our ladies is having protein at every meal can become a habit. So we want to try get into that habit. So protein at every meal, fruit and veg at every meal, good quality fat at every meal. Okay. So we're building out and building out and building out. Now, some families have is this all making sense so far? Can you give me an X in the chat box? Give me an X. I keep forgetting that it comes up with the captions, and I dread to think what some of the translations come through as. Right, give me an X if this is making sense so far. So I'm taking notes down here. Okay, right. So we're getting protein in at every meal. We're starting to plan out what we're going to have every night. Some families have very consistent routines. So for us, every Thursday night, we always have freezer food. End of, because normally by the time we've done I get a monthly fresh meat delivery. So I bung some in the freezer. But normally by a Thursday, what we've topped up with in the supermarket has probably gone and been demolished. So Thursday, I know it's always going to be freezer food. That could be anything that's been a leftover that I've frozen, or see those, like Archie sometimes likes chicken nuggets or corn nuggets or something like that. But I quite like I think it's Bird's Eye and the flame grilled chicken breasts. I think they are, and they don't actually taste like real chicken breasts, but they say they are. But something like that, or fish fingers, or some breaded fish, or something. And I could have that with homemade chips, and I could have that with mushy peas. And that is like a gluttonous dinner, but it's actually not that calorific. So we always have freezer food. So if you've got a similar, you might have a similar routine, or might be Friday freezer food, whatever. You know that that's going to happen. So say I know my husband is away on Wednesday, so easy, quick one. I'm going to have an omelette and mushrooms and all the veg in the world. Okay. That leaves Friday. Now, Friday, Archie and Dale always have pizza. So I don't always have pizza. I'll sometimes have an omelette, and sometimes I'll have fish. Sometimes this is a treat to me. Like sometimes I will have prawns, or I'll have, what else do I have? Like some nice kind of hot smoked salmon or something like that. So I'll have fish here. Saturday, Sunday, this is where you're like, okay, what have we got on this weekend? So it's my sister's hen do coming up. So I know I'm going away and it's a hen do and it's going to be sarnies. So I know what's going on here. So by doing this, I'm alerting myself to the fact of where I know my issues are going to be. So I am a glutton for sandwiches. I freaking love sandwiches, like so much. So I know that that's a day that I need to be aware of, that I can, thanks for all the kisses, lady. I didn't actually want confirmation that it made sense. I just wanted little kisses. And then, so I know that's going to be a red alert, So I know that when I come home, there's not going to be alcohol involved, so I should be all right. For dinner, it'll be something light. It might be, could even be soup. Like it really, that's where I tend to go a little bit less militant on what we're doing. Okay. So Friday, so I'm having freezer food here on the Thursday. So by Friday, I'll probably have a bagel thin, some chicken or some ham or some bacon. Right. Okay. So that's my lunch is pretty much sorted. Monday lunch is often what was dinners on Sunday leftover. Breakfast, so filling in breakfast to me is really, 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 really easy. I pretty much have the same thing every day. And a lot of people do get into the habit of having the same things every day. So Monday, I will have protein, fruit, yogurt. Not quite got into the protein granola yet, but I'm sure it's on its way. For those of us in the client area, Coach Clara is mightily obsessed with a protein granola. But don't have whole bowls of it, ladies. It's very calorific. Just have it as a sprinkle if you're having it. I'll have my collagen and my supplements, and have that every single day, apart from Saturday and Sunday, where I'm going to have bacon medallions, bagel thin. Maybe have a fried egg. Maybe. But often we'll have a fried egg. So that's all sorted for me. Now, snacks wise, I'm a lot more easy with my snacks. It depends how much of a control freak you are. So for snack, after school snack will often maybe be like a rice cake or a bit of fruit. It might be something more proteiny. And sometimes it might be a wee grazer plate, depending on how hungry I am. So a wee plate with pickled onions, maybe some sliced red pepper and a wee bit of ham or baby bell or something like that. Depends how late I'm going to get my dinner. And again, evening snacks. Now, I want you all to take note here. Evening snacks. So at the moment, I'm trying to increase my protein. I'm going to grow more. So this is probably more protein than most people would need. But at the moment, I'm having clear protein and a swirl, single finger, or Twix, single finger, or Ripple. I'm actually just having chocolate because it's in my calorie allowance. I'm really enjoying it. And I don't feel like I am restricted at all. So yeah, that's what I've been having. The night, a proper bit of chocolate, and I freaking enjoy it. But you know, if you're a chocolate fiend, have the chocolate bar. If you're a crisp fiend, have the crisps. You know, it might be depending on what your calorie needs are. You might need to have French fries at 97 calories a bag, or a packet of Walkers at 150 or 160 calories a bag. Okay. But if it's important for you to have things like that, build it in. Don't try and restrict yourself. Build it in, because the more we restrict, the more we start pushing back and rebelling, and our inner teenager goes, not doing it. And you'll just end up shoveling all the crisps in your food. Okay. Making sense? Give me a little Y if making sense. I don't know why I'm looking at the screen to get the Y's, because I can't see anything other than the meal prep. So these are all really, really, really useful tips. Okay. The key to make it as easy and as least time consuming as possible for you guys to be able to do a meal plan, to be able to give it enough flexibility should something change that you can adapt, and also everybody's happy. Like, yes, it would be lovely if we all could rustle up a beautiful, I don't know, micro leaf salad with some quail's eggs and some, I don't know, venison, which we often do have venison. But realistically, for I would say 80% of the time, it's going to be stuff that the entire family's eaten. But that doesn't mean to say that it's not healthy. You know, it's, as parents, it's our responsibility for our children to be eating healthy until they get to a certain age, and then the buck goes to them. So it's up to you, kiddo. You deal with it. So key takeaways: make enough so you can take some for lunch. Actually, on that note, a lot of people things at lunch, and that's okay. I would recommend you can buy a thermos. It's not a flask, well, it is a flask, but it's like a bowl shape, so you can heat it up in the morning before you go to work. I used to send Archie to lunch with pasta and bolognese, and it was roasting hot at lunchtime. So you can do that. If you're in the car at all times and you want to try, you know, is this right for me? One of our clients bought, it's like a wee heater that you can plug into this wee 12-volt heater that you can plug into the old cigarette lighter of your car, and it heats up your food, and it was really quite cheap off of Amazon. So if you are in your car, you know, area sales or territory manager or whatnot, you don't need to rely on supermarket sandwiches or, food at M&S every single day. And at this time of year, make use of salads, fresh ingredients, Super Six and Aldi. I think most supermarkets now do their variations of wonky fruits and stuff, and it's really, really good value. Um, some other tips for you to get fruit and veg in. So one of the things I do here quite a lot is I struggle to get 5 portions of fruit and veg in a day, right? So let's go through Friday, for example. So a portion of fruit at breakfast, one down. I'll have, you probably need about 2 handfuls of leeks, 6 cherry tomatoes, and if we go with a third of a red pepper, that's probably 1 to 2 portions of fruit and veg there. Say I'm having my fish on a Friday and I'm having mushy peas, even though they're out of a can, they still count. Frozen veg still counts. That's one of Clara's top tips actually, is steam fresh veg bags. No excuse. I mean, like 2 minutes in the microwave and you're done. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And for my snack, maybe have a couple of Baby Bell and an apple. That's where you got my 5 in. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. So, what are your key takeaways? Come on, ladies. I'm just watching. Key takeaways. What can you implement? What are you already doing? What are your top tips? Because everybody's got their own way of doing things, and it's certainly worthwhile trying new ways if we get stuck in a rut. That's why I use the supermarket magazines, because I get stuck in a rut quite easily. And go sometimes have been known to like go onto Amazon and boom, £40 later I've got 5 new cookbooks that I don't open. Let's see. The other, I really like the concept of HelloFresh and Gusto. I think it's a brilliant idea, and it really can help us get more adventurous in the kitchen. It can help us take us back to basics with cooking. But if you are going down that route, be very careful, because their portion sizes are ridiculously large. As such, their calorific content of their meals can be really, really, really big, and they don't tend to have, I'm not sure about it now, but certainly when I looked at it, for example, coconut milk, it was always full fat coconut milk when you could actually benefit from reduced fat, or it was always the higher fat mints when it would benefit from the lower fat mints. So just be mindful of that. Let's see. And the other thing is, some people have found quite useful, especially where maybe their partner works away a lot, or they get stuck in a rut, or they've got a really busy project at work, having some pre-prepped meals in the freezer from some Muscle Foods. They're okay, they're all right, they're not the best, but Morrison's do their own, and I think Asda do as well, and it's like normally about £2 for £6. They're calorie counted, and they've got a good source of protein, and they're quite handy to have in the freezer as well. Top tips. So, any questions? Any takeaways? No questions? Oh, ladies, what's going on? Okay. So we are actually not having any of these things that were on the menu. We're having homemade burgers tonight, because I spent some time last week making some burgers with the mince that I get from athlete meat. Was it athlete or athlete meat? But I'm not having a bun, because I had a bagel with my lunch and a couple of rice cakes as a snack. So I'm focusing on the protein. The protein. Okay. If you have no questions, that is fine. I'll do a sign off. So loads of interest in the 5-day challenge, which is tremendous. Thank you so much. I think we've got 50 waiting to join. So if you are keen on doing it, we are capping the numbers. So if you have received the link and you've not signed up yet, make sure you request to join the group. 8th of September it kicks off. I'll be doing more posts over the course of the coming weeks. The next one will be on Friday, I think I've scheduled it for. So you can get your name down then if you're interested. The second thing is availability for consultations. So I've had, unfortunately, a couple of short notice cancellations and a couple of no shows this week. So if you are keen to change your path, if you are keen that you want to make changes to your lifestyle to get better results and not have to go through the emotional trauma of dieting or all or nothing or emotional eating, just drop a comment below that says ready. Now, the one thing I would say, by saying ready, you're by no means committing to ever being a client. There's a bit more to it than that. But if you're committed to at least having a conversation about what's going on and getting some recommendations and getting an idea of what could work, then put ready in the comments. And the lovely Megan from America will get in touch for a wee quick chat and see what we can do. And that might genuinely might just mean giving you some homework, which I know nobody really wants homework when we're in our 40s, but sometimes what we need. Sometimes it's what we need. Okay, then. So no questions. That's fine. Love you all dearly. I hope you have a tremendous evening. Hope this has helped somebody. And you can implement, because after all, knowledge is great. Taking action is power. If you don't take action, nothing changes. Remember that. Okay. All right. Have a lovely evening. Take care. Lovely to see some familiar names. Lovely to see some new names. Thank you all for coming. And I will see you all later on in the week. All right. Bye-bye.